Alright guys, welcome back to another Zenless Zone 0 update video. We have some brand new kit changes that came out for the 1.5 banner characters recently. So in today's video, we will go over all the new changes for Evelyn. We have a lot of new multipliers and kit details that came out regarding her kit. So we will go over all the new details about her in this video. And for those who are interested to see the latest Astra kit details, you can check out my previous video. But for now, we will do a dedicated video on Evelyn. And if you guys need to top up on polychromes, check out this website called LD Shop. LD Shop starts you off with a 13% discount compared to the in-game purchases in Zenless Zone 0. And here is how I got an internet membership for just $464 instead of the in-game price of nearly $5. And it's pretty simple guys, all you have to do is enter your UID and server, you go confirm the order, then you proceed to checkout. And as you can see, in a short amount of time, my order got completed. And now if I go check in my game, I got my new internet membership active. LD Shop is really safe and reliable. On top of that, they do have a discount for new users. You can use my link below down in the description to get an exclusive 5% off coupon, which now gives you up to 18% off to save you a lot more. And the good thing is the double top-ups are also included. And you can even spend $80 to gain VIP status. With the VIP status, you can claim a free internet memberships and a bunch of weekly and monthly coupons. Check out the link in the description or pinned comment down below to save with LD Shop. And if you guys want more updates like this one, make sure to like and subscribe, put those notifications on to be covered on the channel 24/7 regarding any news about the game. But let's get into it guys, we have a lot to cover. I'm going to first pull up the new multipliers and we can then take a look at the other part of the kit changes. So a few changes to our multiplier here, there's not that many. Starting off with the basic attack number 5. The damage multiplier went from 463 to 430. The days multiplier 262 to 243%. The energy from 5.2 to 4.8. Decibel from 40 to 46 and build up 145 to 143. So some small nerfs for basic attack 5. Moving on to the enhanced basic attack because that received some changes as well. And for the rest of the multipliers here, I'm just going to go over straight to the new multipliers. So the damage multiplier for the enhanced basic attack number 1 is 424%, days multiplier 179%, the new energy 3.8, the decibel 29, and the build up 1.8. So again, a little bit of nerfs here and there, but it's not that massive. Now we have the basic attack, enhanced basic attack number 2, the new multiplier 518, days 196, energy 4.2, decibel 42, and the build up 118. And then here we have changes to your special attack, the special 1 hook. The new damage multiplier is now 88%, the days 66%. The decibel gain went from 22.4 to 22, so that's barely a difference right there. And the build up 49, but again, not some major changes. Same thing for the chain attack, barely any changes regarding the damage multiplier. It went from 1648 to 1610%, so not a huge difference there, like 20% difference. And now the ultimate also received some changes. The new damage multiplier is 3963%. And the new days multiplier is now 382.5%, and the buildup is now 241. So yeah, that was the last of the multiplier changes. So we can then move on to the kit here. So here we have some new changes to the basic attack, and there isn't that many changes. There are some changes on the names, like the normal attack branch 1 is not called branch 1 anymore, it's strangulation, and the rope state is now called biting split. And then we have some more like dagger and wire is now moonlit silk. And we also have actual effect change here. It says the move consume 50 branch skill points. Now it says this move consumes 8 points of flame, so it's different. And the effect at the bottom here got completely removed, but other than that, it still looks pretty much the same. Now normal attack branch 2, same thing as previously, it's now called strangulation type 2. So Strangulation type 2, continue normal attack holding EX special skill to activate. Let's see what changed here. The move consumes 8 points of flame, and the effect at the bottom here got removed as well, which is pretty much the same effect. So we can move on here. We have the passive bind. We have the old and new one. I'm gonna go over the new one, and I'll leave the old one on the screen for you guys if you guys want to check that out. But the new one is when Evelyn moves to deal damage to enemies, Flame is accumulated up to a maximum of 16 points. And when Evelyn uses Flame to activate Strangulation moves, 1 bind point is accumulated. And if 3 bind points are held, Evelyn's next Strangulation move will clear all bind points and replace the move with a weaker interrupt level chain attack. So that is the whole new passive for the bind passive. A lot of terminology that changed throughout her kit, and now it got a whole new effect. Moving on, here we have the special skill. It's not called Hook Lock, it's now called Binding Control Position. But other than that, it pretty much remains the same as before. I'm not seeing any changes. Same thing with the special skill called Weak Bind. Now it's called Binding Split Type 1. And the same exact thing with this one, no effect changes. So it's pretty much the same as our last kit breakdown video. Only this time, the special skill is called a different name. This is very similar to what we saw in my latest kit breakdown video regarding Astra's kit. They did a lot of name changes and a lot of fewer effect changes, which is what we're mostly seeing in this video. Now moving on, we have the EX special skill, which has a new name called Binding Split Terminal Type, but other than that, looks the same as before. So let's move on now to the core passive. So the core passive got some effect changes as well. So when Evelyn enters the binding restriction, crit rate is increased by 24, previously 24%, up to 25, a 1% difference. Not a huge buff, but 1% more, for a total of 25% from the core passive, which is pretty good. And then the rest did not change. And now up next, we have the additional ability, which also receives some effect changes. So going on here, we have some Evelyn chain attack and ultimate damage increased by 25% up to now 30%, so a 5% buff. And when Evelyn's crit rate is above 80%, the chain attack and ultimate damage is also increased by 35%, which was previously 25%, so a 10% damage buff on that. So the additional ability is actually looking pretty good. I guess you would want to build her with a lot of crit rate. If you're above 80%, you're going to get chain attack and ultimate 45%, and then another 30% just from having a stun and support character on your team. So 65% to your chain attack and ultimate is pretty nice, guys. But the only downside is that if you want the full effect here, you want above 80% crit rate, which could be hard to do depending on your build. But moving on, here we have the Mindscape 1. So we have a new one and an old one. So I'm going to put both on the screen here, and I'm only going to read the new one. So when Evelyn enters the battlefield, she immediately gains 1500 points of decibel. And then when enemies are under binding restriction, they gain imprisonment. And then when Evelyn attacks enemies with imprisonment, she then ignores 12% of the target's defense, which is pretty strong. And then when she activates the special skill Binding Split Type 1 and the EX special skill Binding Split Terminal Type, she then spreads to all hit enemies, lasting for 10 seconds. So the defense shred will spread to all the hit enemies, so that is pretty strong. Now we have the Mindscape 2. We have an old and new one here. The new one, Evelyn attack's power is increased by 10% when Evelyn uses basic attack or the basic attack Strangulation Type 2, Type 1 and 2. The consumed flame will be refunded up to once every 25 seconds, and then the interrupt level of Evelyn's chain attack is also increased. Now the Mindscape 5, which is the last change of this video, we have the old one and then the completely new one here. So when Evelyn uses a chain attack or ultimate, she enters String Shadow Absolute Edge. And then whenever she does a normal attack, dash attack, or special skill on enemies, an additional chase attack is activated, dealing 375% of Evelyn's attack as fire damage. The Moonlight Silk String chase attack is also considered Q2E damage, and then it lasts for a maximum of 20 seconds or until Evelyn performs 16 Moonlit Silk String chase attacks. So yeah, guys, these are all the new changes for Evelyn's kit. If you guys enjoyed, like and subscribe. That is all for this one. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.